Okay, here we go. Question number one of, 220 questions or something like that. It is May 3rd, 2022. I do not have the new 2022 rule book yet, so you'll see the 2021 rule book. If a question refers to a new rule, I will include the new rule, and we'll go from there. All right, question number one. A, 2nd and 10 at the B37. A12's legal forward pass is intercepted by B45 at the B3, and his momentum takes him into the end zone where he takes a knee. And we have 852A exception as a rule reference. Is this a safety? Is it a touchback? Or momentum applies? B will likely choose B, 1st and 10 at the B3. So, 852A deals with it is a safety when a runner carries the ball from the field of play to and across his own goal line and it becomes dead there in his team's possession. So that's what happened here. Okay. Exception. When a defensive player intercepts an opponent's forward pass, intercepts or recovers an opponent's fumble or backward pass, or an R player catches or recovers a scrimmage kick or free kick between his 5-yard line and the goal line, and his original momentum carries him into the end zone, where the ball remains in the end zone and is declared dead in the end zone, in his team's possession, or it goes out of bounds in the end zone, the ball belongs to the team in possession at the spot where the pass or fumble was intercepted or recovered, or the kick was caught or recovered. Whew. Okay, basically, guys, what this is saying is an intercepted pass, a backward pass, or fumble inside B's 5-yard line, and the recovery of that interception, backward pass, etc., takes him into the end zone where the ball becomes dead. Either he gets tackled, he takes a knee, he goes out of bounds, whatever. It is not a safety. The ball goes back to where he received the ball, which in this case is the 3. And the same is true for a kick. If the ball is kicked, the receiving team catches the ball in between the 5 and the goal line, and the momentum of the catch carries the player into the end zone, then the ball will be placed where he caught it. Now, if he runs into the end zone on his own volition, all bets are off, okay? But in this case, it was the momentum that carried him in, so our answer is C. All right, question number 2. A 3rd and 17 at the A10. To avoid an official, B57 goes out of bounds at the A15. B57 returns inbounds at the A20 and tackles the runner at the A23. So is that a legal play? Is it a legal participation? And if so, where is the enforcement spot? So, illegal participation is an interesting foul. Here it is right here, 9.6, and I've never seen, there's nowhere else in the rule book that I can think of that that the rule starts off with comments, and it basically gives you all the different situations where we could have illegal participation by entering the field during the play. Okay, but there's another type of illegal participation. It says, no player shall intentionally go out of bounds during the down and return to the field, intentionally touch the ball, influence the play, or otherwise participate. So B57 went on his own volition, even though he's trying to avoid an official. That's not a good enough reason. He should have stayed out of bounds. But so he's definitely guilty of illegal participation. So now the question is, what's the enforcement spot? And we refer to the enforcement spots as basic spots. And there are 7 different basic spots. I had this marked and I screwed up. Hang on, stay with me. Types of plays. Okay. A loose ball play. Okay, that I'm sorry. I'm going to cut this out. Okay, the basic spots. If foul occurs during a down, the basic spot is determined by the action that occurs during the down. This is the basic spot for penalty enforcement. The basic spot is the previous spot for loose ball plays, and it includes all of these situations. Basically, a loose ball play is a kick or a pass. That's really all you have to think of it. There is an exception. This is fairly new. The basic spot may, at the option of the offended team, be the succeeding spot for fouls by K, so it's during a kick. All right, so that's not the situation here. But so this is not a loose ball play. So let's go on to the next one. Basic spot is a spot where the kick ends. Well, we don't have a kick, so let's go on to the next one. The basic spot is a spot where the related run ends for a foul which occurs during a running play. And a running play is any action not included in the first article. So a running play is when you're running. And you can have a loose ball portion of the play when the ball's in the air or rolling on the ground in a fumble, and then a run. So if a receiver catches the ball, that ends the loose ball play, and then during the subsequent run, there's a foul, then we enforce it as a running play. The other ones are succeeding spots, which are for unsportsmanlike fouls. We also have 20-yard line for fouls by either team when the opponent It's basically any it's fouls that occur when the ball is forced across the goal line. Okay, so it's going to be on the 20, and then the basic spot is the goal line for fouls which are committed during running plays by the opponent of the team in possession at the time of the foul, when the team in possession is responsible for forcing the ball across its own goal line, and the related run ends in the end zone. So don't worry about that one. All right, so back to our question. This is a running play. So we are going to enforce from the end of the run. So that would be the A23. Even though it was tackled by an illegal participation player, the enforcement spot is the A23. We will half the distance to the goal line, and it'll be 1st and 10 at the A11 and a half. All right, so the answer is D. Okay, question number 3. Offensive lineman A66 contacts defensive player B53 at the line of scrimmage, and with continuous contact, A66 drives B53 back 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage at the left hash, and then releases B53 but continues downfield another 3 yards without contacting another A player. At that point, quarterback A11 throws a legal forward pass to eligible receiver A32 beyond the line of scrimmage near the right sideline. Is that a legal play? Is it offensive pass interference? Is it an ineligible player downfield? Or is it both offensive pass interference and ineligible player downfield? So our rule references are 7512, and 7512 says ineligible A players may not advance beyond the expanded neutral zone. The expanded neutral zone is the area 2 yards behind on the defensive side of the ball, 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. Okay, in the field of play, of course. So, legally, the offensive lineman can drive the defensive lineman back 2 yards without being ineligible downfield. In this case, he's done that, but then he's continued down another 3 yards, and when the pass is thrown, it has crossed the neutral zone, and it's in flight, and no B player has touched it. So he is in violation of 7-5-12, which is an ineligible player downfield. Now, had this same lineman continued to make contact downfield and it was close to where the ball was thrown, then we could have offensive pass interference. Technically, it doesn't matter where the contact is on the field, but philosophically, if an offensive lineman is contacting a player on the left side of the field, say 5-10 yards downfield, and the ball's thrown to the right side, we don't want offensive pass interference called. We want an ineligible player downfield call. But technically, it's still OPI, but we don't want to throw that flag. We want to throw the ineligible player downfield. So the question, answer to question number 3 is C. Okay. Question number 4. K 4th and 5. During K's legal scrimmage kick, so we've got a punt, K69 holds R14 at the K15. So this is a foul by K. The kick is caught by R22 at the K40 and returned to the K35 where R22 fumbles. R45 recovers at the K30. To retain possession, R must decline enforcement of K69's foul. So, remember our enforcement rules. What type of play is this? It is a loose ball play. It is a kick. Okay? That's a loose ball. And the enforcement spot for a loose ball play is the previous spot, which would be the K10. So we would take half the distance and kick again. But a couple years ago, they changed the rule, or expanded the rule, I guess I should say. And under 10.5.1 special enforcement rules, fouls by K, right there, during a free or scrimmage kick prior to the end of the kick fall under the 10.4.2 exception. Okay, 10.4 deals with the basic spot. And the basic spot is used for penalty enforcement. And Article 2 says the basic spot is the previous spot for a foul which occurs simultaneously with the snap or free kick, for a foul which occurs during a loose ball play, which you see the definition right there, and that's what we have here, a free kick or scrimmage kick. So we have a scrimmage kick, so it's a loose ball play. So the basic spot is the previous spot, but we have an exception. The basic spot may, at the option of the offended team, be the succeeding spot for fouls by K during a free or scrimmage kick down, other than kick catching interference, prior to the end of the kick, when K will not be next to put the ball in play. So, if K had recovered this, then this wouldn't apply. They would take the penalty and make him re-kick. But, because R recovered, we are going to enforce from the succeeding spot, which is the end of the run in this case, and we would tack on the 10-yard penalty for holding, and R would have the ball at the K20. So the answer to question number 4 is B, false. Question number 5. K, 3rd and 7 at the R30, so they're 30 yards away from the end zone. K22's field goal attempt is blocked behind the line of scrimmage and recovered by K16 at the R35. K16 advances into R's end zone. So was the ball dead when K recovered it? Was the ball dead when K recovered it and it's still K's ball? Because it was 3rd down, remember? Or was this a touchdown? So on the first answer, it's asking if it's R's ball after K recovered it. So the rule reference is 623, and 623 says any K player may catch or recover a scrimmage kick while it is in or behind the neutral zone and advance unless it's during a try. So a field goal is a scrimmage kick, and therefore if the ball is behind the line of scrimmage when K picks it up, then he can advance. He could even throw or kick it. So in this case, K picked it up and ran into the end zone. That's a touchdown. So the answer is C, K touchdown. All right, question number 6. A second and goal at the B5. A3 sweeps around the right end. At the B2, A3 dives and crosses the goal line airborne. He continues to hold the ball as the ball crosses the goal line extended, and he lands out of bounds. Is this a touchdown? Or is it A's ball, third and goal, where the ball broke the sideline plane prior to crossing the goal line extended? So goal line extended applies, you can see a picture of it right here. So if the runner is in bounds and crosses the goal line in bounds, the ball can be out of bounds and the goal line is extended to infinity, but basically only the length of his arm, right? So it refers to 226-3, which is the definition of the goal line. Goal line is a vertical plane which separates the field of play from the end zone when related to a live ball in a runner's possession, touching in bounds. There, it's important. While the ball is over the out of bounds area, the goal line includes the extension beyond the sidelines. So it's basically what I just said. So here, in this case, we have the runner leaving the field of play, leaping and landing out of bounds. So he's not in bounds physically, like this guy here, when the ball crosses the goal line extended. So the other rule reference is 423 or 433 rather, and we go right here. 433. When a runner goes out of bounds, the nearest hash mark is fixed by the yard line through the foremost point of the ball at the time the runner crosses the plane of the sideline. Okay? So as an official, you have to decide where that ball crossed the sideline while he was airborne. Okay? So it's not a touchdown. It is, the answer is B, A, third and goal, where the ball broke the sideline plane prior to crossing the goal line extended. Okay, question number 7. A, third and 9 at the A8. At the A6, quarterback A3 pitches the ball backwards to A18 at the A2. At the A4, B89, defensive player, bats the pass into the end zone, where A18 recovers it. So, do we have a touchdown, a safety? Do we have a penalty? A foul? And if so, where is it enforced? Where does the ball end up? So the foul would be illegal batting. And 972 covers that. And it's down here at the bottom. It says, no player shall bat a loose ball other than a pass or fumble in flight, or a low scrimmage kick in flight, which he's attempting to block in or behind the expanded neutral zone. There's one exception to that. When on a scrimmage kick, a K player can bat the ball towards his own end zone. A grounded scrimmage kick. He can't do it in the air, but once it's grounded, he can bat it backwards towards his own end zone. Okay? That's not the case here, but this ball is in flight, so therefore this is not an illegal bat. Okay, so we don't have a foul here. So these three are right out. So it's either a touchdown or it's a safety. Now, the question is, who's responsible for putting that ball into the end zone? And you would think it would be B89, because he batted the pass into the end zone. Well, this introduces the concept of force. And force, it could be a bat, a kick, a fumble. Anyway, here we go. Carry, snap, pass, fumble, or kick. Those are all forces. So responsibility for forcing the ball from the field of play across a goal line is attributed to the player who carries, snaps, passes, fumbles, or kicks the ball unless a new force is applied to a grounded backward pass, kick, or fumble. The muffing or batting of a pass, kick, or fumble in flight is not considered a new force. So, even though B89 is the one that put the ball into the end zone, it's not considered a new force. The force was the backward pass. And therefore, when A18 recovered it in the end zone, it's a safety. Answer is B. Okay, question number 8. A, 2nd and 13 at the A20. Running down the sideline during a pass play, the line judge unintentionally collides with a team assistant coach in the restricted area. Okay, this is a violation of Rule 948. And you can see it right here. Sorry, I gotta make it bigger here. Unintentional contact between a non-player and an official in the restricted area while the ball was live. Now, 9-4 is basically all the personal fouls and sportsmanlike. So I'm not sure why this is so vaguely written, but if we go down to the penalty table, okay, unintentional contact between a non-player and an official in the restricted area. So a non-player is anyone other than the 11 players on each side, on each team that are on the field. So it can include a player who's dressed but is in the team box. It can be an assistant coach. It could be a scorekeeper. It could be the medic. Nobody can be in that restricted area at the time of the snap. And I'm talking to you new guys now, okay? Everybody else has heard this a million times. You've got to keep that area clear. It's absolutely incumbent upon you, okay? And, this is a 15-yard penalty. And if we have a second one, it's 15 yards again, added on, and the head coach is disqualified. Not the guy that you ran into, the head coach. You do not want this to happen in your game. Okay? Got that? So, all of these are true. And so the answer is D. Okay, question number 9. Players may not wear the number 0 as a jersey number. And it refers to 143, which this is the 2021 rule book. I've already explained that I don't have the 22 rule book yet. Each player shall be numbered 1 through 99, inclusive. So that up until now, you could not wear the number 0. But if we take a look at the press release that was released on March 3rd by the NFHS, let me see if I can get that fitting in there. It says players will be able to wear number 0 as a jersey number starting in 2022. Yay! A little side note, they cannot wear 00, okay? Right there. Okay, so 09, 08, all that, that's illegal. Okay, but 0 is okay. All right, so the answer to this one now is false. Used to be true, now it's false. How about that? Question number 10. A, 2nd and 11 at the B35. A83 and B19 are side by side at the B30 when B19 grabs A83. A83 is able to pull away from B19 and runs to the B35 when quarterback A9 throws a legal forward pass to A83. The pass is incomplete. So the rules reference is 923. C and D, and 923 says a defensive player shall not. And there's 4 things that he can't do. C says use his hands or arms to hook, lock, clamp, grasp, encircle, or hold in an effort to restrain an opponent other than the runner. And 923D says contact an eligible receiver who is no longer a potential blocker. So it's definitely not DPI because the ball hasn't been thrown, right, when the foul occurs. Illegal use of hands, it doesn't fall into the definition. Contact is a pretty nebulous term, right? But what they're really talking about is some sort of push, contact with the shoulder, not a hold. Okay, and this line right here, this is really important. Who is no longer a potential blocker? Because remember, receivers can block downfield, and it happens a lot. So it has to be obvious that the receiver is no longer a blocker, and that would be when the receiver is either past the defender or wide of the defender. Sometimes what we see is linebackers will, as a receiver goes by, will shove them, and that's not legal. That is a violation of this illegal use of hands. That's what this is illegal use of hands. But in our case, it's a grasp, so it's going to be B, holding, and it'll be a 10-yard penalty. It was 2nd and 11, so we're going to go 2nd and 1 from the B25. Answer's B.